Welcome to the Lighthouse. So for this week's sessions in integrative practices, we are tuning in to what it feels like and what it means for us to practice an elevated caliber of listening. And for myself, as a lifelong lover of these types of practices, one of the best inroads I have been able to discover and commit to is the practice of listening through my body. And so that's what we'll be doing today. So I have arranged a beautiful sequence of dynamic meditations that we'll be doing with the assistance of a timer. I'm not sure if any of you have ever checked this out as part of doing a movement-based practice, but it's something that I actually do on the ordinary in my personal relationship with this stuff, because it holds you accountable and because it makes sure that you actually stay engaged in the practice long enough for it to do its work and for it to uncover the magic. So you may be hearing a timer going off every now and again, because for each segment in the whole that is the set of our practice today, we'll be doing each segment for a total of 3 minutes, which may mean that we bleed a little bit past 12 noon. So if you need to jump off, you absolutely can. But I encourage you to check out the on-demand replay, which you can find at integratives.org. If you've never been inside of that website, it's really a pretty cool place. There are so many sessions. It's pretty boundless at this point. And you can listen to those teachings and do those practices at the freedom of your own flow and your calendar, and you can, you know, hit pause and stretch out a 30-minute session over, you know, 2 or 3 different replay times. It's there for you, and I encourage you to use that website because it was made for you, it's for you. So I hope you find your way there and use those resources. So just quickly before we start our sets. So, you know, in the ESI community of practice, we're very much interested in active listening. And then in IP, we're very interested in a kind of simplified, honest, and elemental listening. So what does that mean as we endeavor into the landscape of the physical body today? I want you to be checking out, you know, the immense messages that are being whispered to you and through the tissues of your body at the level of earth, air, and fire, and water, and ether, really quieting down all of the humdrum noise that surrounds us and that's inside of us, so that you can get to a kind of elemental listening. So, so let's begin. Just quickly before we start the practices, I was just seated on 2 of these blocks. If you have something like this in your vicinity that you can utilize for some of the practices, which I'll indicate which ones to use them for, you may find it to be very beneficial for you in terms of your structure and finding sustained comfort in the process. If you don't have something like a block, even something like a blanket could work. You can also do all of these practices without any kind of a bolster, but I find in my 40-something-year-old body that these accoutrements are very helpful. So I'm going to change our music. So this first one is going to bring us right into balancing your navel center. So you're going to lay back like so, and you're going to lift your legs, and you're going to lift your head, and I'm going to hit start, and we're going to do breath of fire. So we're breathing out of the nose, and it's going to look like this. If at any point you need to rest, by all means, do so. Okay, so let's begin. As you endure in sustaining the legs up like this, feel the legs spiraling in, around the back of the thighs, around to the outer thighs, and back up to the top. Stretch, elongate, extend, and expand through the arms and through the legs. Balance all of your chi in your abdominal center, in the center of the wheel of your physical body. Again, if you need to rest, you absolutely can. You can rest at any point for as long as you need to. Otherwise, let it fire you up in a beauty way. So as you endure and see if every time you exhale, if you can pull your abdominal wall down, okay? Notice that I let myself rest occasionally inside of the set, and then I go right back into it. Good, and then bring it down. Beautiful. Just let yourself lay flat for a moment. So at the beginning I was talking about listening, just quickly before we move on to the next set. Listening, developing a robust relationship with listening to your body. It's critical in terms of making a connection to your essence. Listening to your body as the bridge to having a relationship with your essence. And we're interested in listening in ways that are free of errors or any kind of facade or any kind of artifice. That's what I'm pointing to when I speak about honest listening, so that you can have a true friendship with yourself. You know, all of this kind of work, you don't need to be a philosopher, you don't need to be a scholar, you don't need to be a mystic, you just need to want to know who you are and to listen in a way that's going to be, that's going to reveal more in terms of that revelation. So, moving right along, this is our next, and I promise this is the last abdominal exercise for the most part that we'll be doing in this flow. You're going to come onto your back, you're going to pull your knees in, and you're activating, so you want to push a little energy through the balls of your feet and spread the toes, take hold of the outside of the knees, and curl your nose in towards your knees. You're going to have a lot of compression as the top of your thighs are resting on your belly, but you want to do the same kind of breath of fire, and it's going to sound like this. Okay, so go ahead and begin. And I'm going to navigate all of these electronics here. And I've hit start, so we've got 3 minutes in this place. Remember, rest as much as you need to. Rest and then pop right back into it. Spreading the toes. Spreading the toes. Listening to the
the tattvas, harmonizing and balancing the tattvas, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, and the ether. Listening is the essential solution that one has to offer oneself at all times. Keep listening. If it's tough on the neck, rest your head, okay? Rest your head. Good, and then bring the practice to a close. Lay back on your back for a moment. Lay back for a moment, rest, inhale wholeheartedly. Exhale into emptiness. So for this next aspect of the set, I am going to use my blocks, okay? We're going to sit in what's called rock pose. So I'm seated on the knees. If that's not comfortable or sustainable in your anatomy, then sit in a comfortable cross-legged position. You could even pop into a chair if you needed to, okay? So this next exercise is called the ego eradicator. So if you were in yesterday's session, I was talking a little bit about, one aspect of being an honest listener is making that field shift of listening from some kind of habituated, even egoic points of departure, shifting from that place of listening to, an undefended presence, a kind of naked awareness, listening in a very raw, real way that comes from this moment and is for this moment and stays with this moment. Okay, so this helps us to eradicate the mental structures and the physical structures that are in our cellular memory and in our fascial matrix, so that we can, listen in that fresh way. This is what it looks like. We were doing a similar kind of thing yesterday as we did the swan mudra. You're gonna curl the index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers in towards the top of the palm, to the top of the palm, and then the thumbs are gonna be extending in towards the side of the head. And your arms will be up and out in a broad V, okay? We're gonna do a breath of fire, so it'll sound like this. The eyes are gonna be closed down 9/10 of the way, and the gaze will be stabilized towards the tip of the nose. So let's check this out. I'm gonna hit start. And go. Okay. Just scoot this back a little bit. Create the mudra. Extend the arms up. Establish a rhythmic pace that is sustainable and transformational for you. Sustainable but transformational at the same time. Lifting your life force. Let this practice bring you into neutrality, into your neutral mind, into your meditative mind. That's the place from where all honest listening emerges, from the meditative mind. Let it grow you. Keep it going. Keep up. Keep up, and the practice will keep you up. Keep up, and you will be kept up. Let it lift you up. These practices will never, ever tear you down. They will always and only lift you up and keep you up. A few more moments. Keep it going, harmonizing the positive mind and the neutral mind, charging up and opening up your energetic auric body. And you know, I'm not moving into fanciful terrain by using the word aura. Science is confirmed and documented and can even measure the human aura as actually being the container that holds our chi, our prana, our life force. So open it up, strengthen it, create an intelligence, an immunity bolster in your ability to take negativity and to turn it into something more optimal. Couple more. All right, we've hit 3 minutes. Good. Bring the practice to a close. Watch here. I'm going to remove my blocks. And I'm actually going to push them to the side. You're going to be in a straddle position, like so. And you're going to create the same kind of swan mudra, pressing the pads of the thumbs together like so, keeping the index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers pressed into the top of the palm of the hand. Okay, so inhale is here, and I'm pressing energy out from the nucleus of the hip joints out to the balls of the feet, and out beyond the borders of the body. Okay, we're expanding, extending, elongating. So this is my inhale, and then this is my exhale. Inhale, exhale. So inhale, I'm going to press start on our timer. Again, we've got a 3-minute set. Begin now. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Try to keep your arms nice and straight for the duration of the practice. Allow your toes and your feet to go through as many diversified small gestures as they want to. And that will help to open up more of the dexterous nuances on the inside of your inside. Exhale over a leg. Inhale through to center on the axis. Take every in-breath down into the back of your kidneys. Let it purify your physical body. Let
body. Let it integrate your physical body with your subtle body. The thing about being in a human body, in one of these instruments, in one of these vehicles, is that you don't just have this one physical body. You have 10 bodies, lots of different aspects of body, which means that at any time, all the time, you are incredibly resourced. You're almost done. All right, bring the practice to a close. Watch. You're going to stay in the same general posture for the lower body. You're going to reach forward. If you can take hold of your toes, I like to circle grip the toes with the peace fingers and the thumb. I put the peace fingers in between my big toe and second toe, and then just kind of station a thumb on top of the big toe. So if you can get here, fantastic. If you can't, bring your hands to wherever they're going. But you want to be in a state of flow when you do these kinds of dynamic meditations, right? So that means that you are simultaneously comfortable, but definitely challenging yourself, okay? So go to wherever you can and then take it a little bit further. So we're either somewhere around here, and remember, it doesn't matter how far spread the legs are. If you can get them all the way out like a gymnast, fantastic, but you know, I don't think any of us are gymnasts, so we're not gonna get hung up on that. If they need to be really close together, that's fine too. Okay, so here or here. The out breath will be here, and the in breath is here. So exhale and inhale. So as you hit the peak of your in breath, feel an elongation and extension through the central hollow of the spine and through either side of the spine, okay? I'm gonna turn our music up just a little bit, and then I'm gonna set our timer. Remember, if you do this at home, use a timer. That way you can be sure that you're getting all of the medicine and nourishment out of these gestures. So find the grip of the hands either at the floor or at the feet. Exhale and inhale. Find a pace that's patient and excavative. Pull the energy from the base of your tailbone up to the spot between your eyebrows. Have the gaze set at the tip of the nose. Listening, listening, listening. Elemental, simple, honest listening. Let the way in which you are listening help you to access the golden keys for vast awareness, which are infinite love, infinite compassion, empathic joy, and equanimity. Bringing all these qualities into each sequence of inhale and exhale. Thread the movement through the neck.
Good, and stop. You can bring the legs in. Our next set will involve sitting in easy pose, which is what I'm demonstrating here. But for this particular set, I really like having one block underneath my buttock bones. I'm one of these short torsoed humans, so this helps me. If you've got a long torso, you may not need it. So in either regard, again, remember you can use a blanket or any kind of, even like a firm couch pillow if you're practicing in your home, which you probably are. So bolster if you need or want. You're going to take hold of your ankles. And on the out breath, you're going to look in towards your heart center. And on the in breath, you're going to look up. So while doing this practice, you want to keep the attachment site where the bottom jaw and the top jaw conjoin. You want to keep that part of your mouth as relaxed and even slightly slacked if you can, okay? And then you're going to press the top of your tongue onto the roof of the mouth, which is going to help create this upliftment, a sustained upliftment of the chi in your spine, which is going to help absolutely every living, functioning system, every facet, every face of all these 10 bodies, okay? So let the mouth really be part of how you're positioning yourself to make most of the magnificence that's coming through the movement. So this is the out breath, and this is the inhale. So you're going to breathe through your nostrils for this practice, okay? So let's go ahead and set it up. I'm going to set our timer. 3 minutes here. Remember, keep your jaw relaxed. Look at the spot between your eyebrows. Find a pace in terms of the rhythm of your breath that's sustainable, that's hypnotic, that's transformational. As you move into the exhalation part of the gesture, feel how it's compressing and bringing out all of the organs in your belly ring. The shoulders drop down and spread. Listening in. It's your essential solution. No matter where you go, no matter what the context or situation may be, no matter who's there or not there, you can always be engaged in this practice of honest, elemental listening. What is it that wants to be known in this moment through you, that can only be heard through you? Keep the jaw really relaxed. Feel how long your spine is becoming. What a joy. Good, and then bring the practice to a close. So for the next set, you could stay in easy pose, as I'm currently demonstrating, or you can go back to the utilization of the blocks so as to be in rock pose. So I've positioned two of them side by side, and I'm going to bring my big toes to the back outer points of the block, zip my knees together, and bring my buttock bones up to the front of the block, and then have a seat. Okay, so it's the same spinal flex. This is an incredible, energizing totality practice that every time I practice, I am sure to include this one. It makes such a difference in terms of how clear you can feel in your mind and how vibrant the flow of energy is in your body, both of which are tremendously important. Okay, so either repeating where you just were, maybe you want to do less of the neck gesture for this round through, in which case just keep your, from the collarbones up, try to keep it as stable as possible. There will be some vicarious movement. Otherwise, you can still do this deep neck opener, okay? So this, 7-inch transit between head and heart, the opening of the transit and the creating of connectivity between head and heart is what allows you to develop your intuitional intelligence. Okay, so watch here. This is the second iteration of spinal flex. Otherwise, keep the hand and neck stabilized if you feel like you've had enough of that tossing of the head around. Otherwise, you can keep that going. So, exhale and inhale. Keep the hands out towards the end of the thighs near the knees. I'm going to set our timer. Looking at the space between your eyebrows if you can. I recognize how vigorous it is. Let it open you up to new adventure horizons of what's possible in your perception and what's possible in the arc of your human wellness, and even in the quantum terrain of your world work, what it is that you came here to birth in our collective field. Remember, if you need to pop off and leave the meeting, as we are close to noon, certainly, of course, you can. Remember, you can find the replay at integratives, that's plural, integratives.org. Because we do have a few more sets left, not a lot, but a few to complete this dynamic meditation.
Good. Bring the practice to a close. Watch. You're going to grasp the shoulders, fingers in the front, thumb in the back. The inhalation, you're going to still maintain the rock posture. Inhale will be to the left, and exhale will be to the right. Okay, so join in with me as soon as you can. Looking at the spot between the brow, between the eyebrows. Keep it going. With every oscillation, feel a little bit more space. Give yourself access to a little bit more space between the bones and your spinal column. Feel the lines of energy, keep it going, but feel the lines of energy that are underneath your earlobes, that move across the center of your chest and breast, and that move across the toes and the floor. Feel all of these arc lines of energy that are part of your multiple bodies, really becoming more robust, stronger, yet at the same time more malleable, more flexible, more dignified. Keep it going, continue to listen. Elementally, honestly, so very simply. Listening in simply listening to what it is that's coming to you, enlivening through you. Couple more. Good, and then bring the practice to a close. We're going to weave our fingers, still staying in rock pose unless it doesn't feel comfortable. Remember, you can always switch to the easy pose, the cross-legged position. If you need to restore the knees, remember you can pop into a chair as well if that's something that you're feeling called to. Otherwise, making a particular Venus lock with the hands, we're going to weave the fingers with the fingertips on the outside, and we're going to stack the thumbs and extend the arms. So the inhale is here, and the exhale is here. As you inhale, look up, and as you exhale, look just neutral and straight ahead. Okay, so create the mudra with the hands. Then I'm going to press play, start, that is, on our timer. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Have your eyes just simply closed down for this part of the meditation. tune in to the reality of what's going on in your jaw and the attachment site. Similar to what we were articulating physically a few sets back. Be sure that you're relaxing the bottom jaw a little bit away from the top jaw while pressing the top of the tongue onto the roof of the mouth. Good. Bring the practice to a close. And we're going to look to the left on the inhale and look to the right on the exhale. Try to slow this down. Slow down the breathing in order to slow down the movement. Okay? So, begin now. Let the eyes be closed as you're doing this. Keep it going. A couple more cycles. Again, as you open your neck and you feel into the deep chords of freedom and flow in the neck, remember that you are increasing your intuitional intelligence, fostering easeful communication between your mind and your heart. And as a practitioner, remember that if your mind doesn't know it, your heart knows it, and if your heart doesn't know it, your gut knows it. Somewhere in one of the facets and faces of who you are, you have the solution when you listen simply. And listening, it's our essential solution. There for oneself at all times. Inhaling left, exhaling right. A couple more. And we have just one more exercise that I'd like to do as part of this set. We're going to inhale, lift both shoulders simultaneously, and exhale, put them down. I'd like for us to sit in easy pose for this particular exercise, so I'm going to lose one of the blocks and come back down into a comfortable cross-legged position. And I'm going to rest my hands on my knees or on the inner thighs, okay? So I'm going to set our timer. Go ahead and begin. Every time the shoulders go down on the out-breath, let go of the adult armor so you can orient your life with more childlike awe. And it's my experience that when we bring that childlike awe to anything and everything that we do, when we're not trying to do it right, rather we're just bringing the whole of who we are and all of the expertise that is inside of that whole, then things begin to become more fascinating, more effective, more opportunity shows up in our field. let go of the stuff and the stress, any and all of the tension, and any residue of it that might still be in your body. Use the exhale, use the sound current of the exhalation to get it out of your system. Three, two, and one. Good. So let's make a couple of circles, real soft and even small, micro circles, a couple to the right. And then a couple to the left. Want to ease in really slow to this particular gesture, unless you're like 3 years old, which none of us are. You want to take really good care of the neck. You can do this at greater length and with a deeper sense of vigor, but you want to start really slowly and then wind into the deeper terrain, okay? But this is a really rejuvenative gesture. Okay, a couple more in each direction, a couple more to the right, a couple more to the left. And then bring your hands into your lap, make a cupped palm with each hand, and rest the right hand on top of the left hand, and rest both of the hands on top of one of your heels. And take a couple of closing breaths to listen in. So if you were on yesterday's call in our resiliency session, at the end I was talking about, you know, the fact that we've moved into the summer season, which is the perfect season and the perfect kind of consistency of ripeness to tune into what your personal freedom project is, what it looks like, what the components are. And I think that a perfect point of departure for that is asking yourself, you know, what am I doing at the level of being an athlete? Like how am I, you know, which is what we just did, how am I taking care of my physical organism that's allowing me to be more free and to feel more free in a sustained way? How can I be a little bit more of a monk about this whole process of attaining and sustaining freedom, which means that we're a little less attached, we're a little less triggered, and maybe we have a greater sense of empathic, sympathetic joy for the upwelling of beauty in the world around us and in the people around us. And then also to come at the process of awakening freedom within oneself, to come at it from the perspective of your innate sage, the part of you that is undeniably ripened with wisdom through everything that you have experienced. Absolutely everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? So tuning in, we're including that as part of our meditative processes this week. What are the elements in my particular freedom project? What are the elements in the equation? What's got to come, what's got to go? Just simply that. Listen in, 3 more breaths, honest, elemental, simple listening. Again, it's your essential solution. It's your essential solution. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you feel really equanimous, yet completely vibrantly alive. Have a beautiful day. I hope to see you tomorrow for our resiliency session. Sat Nam. Namaste.